Welcome to the NS9 postgame show powered by Permani Brothers. I am Ryan. With me is Neil. Neil, the Pirates pull, they grind out a 2-1 win in extra innings today on Paul Skenes' day in Wrigley on a rainy day with Jim Rosati in the crowd. A lot of things going against them. What's up?
What a weird game.
It was.
It was a strange one. Really always glad that we got a win, but there were times I was like, well, I think I was dreading a Cubs walk-off for the last 3 innings. So happy that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's kind of the usual script with Wrigley, right? And yeah, it was like you said. I don't know, things with Skenes, like it just when Skenes is in the game, like it just the whole game is like it seems like it means something more. Like it's just more exciting when Skenes is in the game. So He only went 5 today, 5 scoreless. We'll talk about all of that. But yeah, it was just like kind of once he comes out of the game, it's like, okay, like the lost season's back, and it's like, we'll see if how are we going to lose this one now? But they pulled it out.
Yeah, it was really looking like it's going to be another one. Well, Paul Skenes shoved. The Pirates lose by 1 run because they can't score. It was really looking like that. In a way, like I don't think we got a single run that wasn't by a sacrifice in some capacity. So like not the offense is most shining in the moment, but it got the job done.
Yeah. So before we get started, we'll get into the extra innings here. Let me tell you about Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With baseball season in full swing, we're deep into the NBA and NHL finals, and Bet Online has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. We keep the dog days of summer rolling with the largest selection of odds on everything, with updated odds on MLB, UFC, and boxing to tennis and NFL futures. Bet Online remains the best online source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the Bet Online Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet Online, the game starts here. Well, let's start in the 10th inning, Neil, because Lord knows we know in extra innings it's a game of execution. It's a game of fundamentals, and usually the Pirates, they don't do well in those situations. But the 10th inning was interesting. So it's 1-1. It's been, a tough to get any runs across, in this game. They start with Adam Frazier at second, obviously with the ghost rule. Hayes looks like he's going to walk. I think he it was 3-1 count. Looked like he was going to maybe draw a walk to start the inning. Ends up getting deep into the count, full count, and ends up, of course, hitting an infield single that just goes to third base, and Shaw couldn't make a play on it. So now you have runners on first and second, no outs. Henry Davis comes up. Henry Davis had an RBI or double earlier in the game, ended up scoring the game's only run for the Pirates to that point. And they start, Donnie Kelly wants him to lay down a bunt. He pops the first bunt up, foul, out of play.
Yeah.
Tries to get the bunt down again, strike 2. And then he works the count back and gets a walk. So you end up with bases loaded and no outs. And yeah, what'd you think about Henry Davis and the decision there to try to bunt him?
I don't mind the decision to bunt. It's kind of Don Kelly's thing. I don't love giving away outs, but I think I've said this before with this offense. I understand the idea. And it's funny that you mentioned fundamentals because I don't think the Pirates were all that great fundamentally. I thought that double steal during Henry Davis's at-bat was nicely done. But, we're talking about the Gonzalez double play that he drops that probably doesn't – the Cubs don't score in regulation if he gets that double play. Davis couldn't put down the bunt. It was a kind of a rough fundamentals day, but, really nice day at the plate for Davis besides that.
Yeah.
That was a huge walk. To get bases loaded, no outs. And, I don't think we put a ball out of the infield at that point, and we got the bases loaded. In a season we don't get very many breaks. This was a nice little break that we finally got.
Yeah, and like you mentioned the double steal during that at bat. It was like Don Kelly was like, you know what? If Davis can't bunt him over, I'm gonna get that second and third base anyway. And he calls the steal. It's like, why didn't you just lead off with that,
Yeah.
and then let Davis swing away? Because yeah, Henry, he had the double earlier. He's been swinging the bat better. That we've talked about a lot. But yeah, he ends up working that count from where he's 0-2 trying to bunt, and they were two awful attempts at a bunt. And then he works it, gets bases loaded. IKF comes up next. Line drive to left field. It's caught, but it gets a run in, make it 2-1. You have a chance to really add on there, which in extra innings with the ghost runner, you kind of need to. And Cruz grounds into a double play, which is like, yep, that's about right. And the Pirates go to the bottom of the 10th, 2-1.
Yeah, I was convinced they were going to lose that. Like only getting one run out of bases loaded, no outs. I was convinced we were going to go in and like the Cubs were going to score. Luckily, they didn't. But what a rough day for the offense again.
Yeah. I mean, this was a rock fight times 100. Like they had to scratch out a run, like you said. There had to be a sacrifice or a bunt or double steal. Like they are trying to manufacture a run or two any way they can, and they need to at this point. But yeah, so they take the 2-1 lead. You would like to have more there. They go into the bottom of the 10th. Bednar comes in. I like the Yinzer at bat that led off the bottom of the 10th. Bednar versus Ian Happ, which Ian Happ, not only from Pittsburgh, but he's been a Pirate killer for quite a number of years. But Bednar gets him to ground out, gets Tucker to pop up, and then gets Suzuki to finish the game ground out. I mean, Bednar has been unbelievable over the last month.
I can't believe – did you watch the game yesterday?
I did.
So you know how everyone was like, I can't believe Cruz didn't put that slider into the seats?
Yep.
I can't believe Kyle Tucker didn't put that curveball into the seats. Like that was such a hating curveball. When I saw that pitch, I've been dreading like a Cubs comeback, and so I'm like, oh no, that's game. And he just pops it up. That was incredible. But besides that, you're right. Bednar's been nails.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did in AAA. I don't know what he worked on, but whatever it is, it's been working. And he looks like all-star Bednar again.
Yeah, he goes 13 pitches, 1, 2, 3, gets the Cubs. Like you said, you're not, as a Pirate fan, as we've seen enough games in Wrigley Field against the Cubs, like you're just waiting for that walk-off and, some home run to win it for the Cubs. And it was not to be. The Pirates somehow pulled this out 2-1. And, I guess since we're starting at the end of the game, I kind of wanted to bring up, we'll get into Skenes and everything, and Mlodzinski came in after that. I wanted to go to the decision to bring Ferguson in. So, Skenes goes 5. They finally bring Mlodzinski in, and he gets you through 6 and 7, which is like, that's kind of what I was expecting Mlodzinski to do, kind of be for this team all year. Yeah. He gets you to the 8th. You have Santana and Bednar just waiting in the wings, like they're ready to go. They didn't pitch yesterday. They're available. Like, let's go. And Don Kelly pulls out Ferguson. Of course, he goes to a leadoff walk, ends up, giving up the run in that inning, ties the game up 1-1. You'll say, oh, you would have criticized Shelton if he made that move. I'll say it right here. I understand that there's 2 lefties coming up for the Cubs, and that's obviously what Don Kelly was thinking. But I would have just went to Santana or Bednar and just let them pitch the 8th and the 9th. And I get it, what he was thinking, but I just didn't love it.
I was perfectly fine with it. Like it was a Shelton move. Shelton loves his matchups. Don Kelly's not as much, but I still think he likes his matchups too. But like, I don't know, like PCA and Tucker have just been murdering righties all season long. It's their bread and butter. And so Ferguson hasn't been bad for us. I think he's been a pretty solid pitcher. So I don't really see much of an issue in like trying to attack like the most dangerous batters who don't hit nearly as well against lefties. Like, I think it was a fine move. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know Ferguson hasn't been like as dominant as he was at the beginning of the season, but I thought it was a fine idea. It didn't work out. but I didn't.
No.
But I do understand wanting Santana. You want Bednar. But with someone like Bednar, like let's say you choose to go to Bednar, you know, that's a risk because Bednar, while good, is still a pretty big home run threat. And you just don't want that with Kyle Tucker coming up.
Yeah, I mean he ends up facing him in the 10th,
Yeah.
you know, so it's
You're right.
But
I
hear you.
understand the decision. Like, you know,
look at this. We got Neil defending Kelly, and I'm over here telling you I didn't like the decision.
I don't hate Don Kelly. my entire thing is like these guys don't matter, so I'm not going to hate Don Kelly. He's doing the best he can.
But that's, you know, Ferguson, like you said, look, he's a veteran, but I don't think he hasn't been that great. I don't think in the back end of this bullpen for the Pirates. So I was a little worried about it. And then he comes right out and walks the strategy kind of goes out the window when you come in off the bullpen and walk the leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
And then Suzuki singles and he gets Pete Crow Armstrong out. And then Santana comes in, you know, they get the one run there on a fielder's choice, and then Santana gets out of it, and then he ends up pitching the ninth. So once again, I mean, Santana did his job efficiently. He goes, you know, a little over just one inning, comes in for 2 innings basically. And Santana's just been him and Bednar right now are just locked down in that bullpen right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy because like ever since Kelly's taken over, like I think the Pirates have ranked. I think DiNardo posted this, it was like 20th in the league in bullpen, pretty much the exact same of what it was under Shelton. And it's just kind of weird because you've subtracted Holderman, Bednar has been back. Ferguson, like Mike says here, has a 2.08 ERA in June. Santana's locked down. Like there are good arms that are consistently performing well in the bullpen. That, you know, even though you're kind of dreading that the Pirates are going to lose, it's not because of the pitchers on the mound. The pitchers, I feel pretty confident, are back in guys right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Even when it's not those two, it's Sugar or Ferguson. Like it just they've been pretty good, and it helps when your starters are going 5 and 6 and 7.
Exactly,
pretty much every game. So. Pirates win today 2-1, extra innings. Get your hashtag raise it's in. We will have the giveaway. I'm so not used to this, Neil. I know you aren't either. We are just not two guys that are used to giving away sandwiches, but we are going to give away 4 sandwiches to 2 winners after the game, after this post game right at the end. So get your hashtag raise it's in. It'll get you entered into the giveaway. Let's start with Paul Skenes, man. That's right. I'm mowing down the Guinness here. I got the Guinness today too, Book. I'm like, so Skenes starts the game, a very good lineup against the Cubs. And he lowered what can we say about Paul Skenes that hasn't already been said? He lowers his ERA today to 1.78, goes 5 scoreless innings. He really ran into, I mean, the Cubs were kind of making them work for it. I think that was their strategy going into the game. He had a really, really long 3rd inning to the point where, you know, it was bases loaded. He was just, I think he had like 25 some pitches in that inning, was approaching 30. They had Sugart warming up in the bullpen when a 0-0 game in the 3rd inning, just kind of like, whoa, like, are we actually going to pull Paul Skenes if he throws too many pitches here? But he gets out of it. Still gets to go 5. I think he threw 95 pitches overall today. Tell me what you thought of Paul Skenes today.
This is the difference between Paul Skenes and other pitchers, because I was on a post game a couple weeks ago when Mitch Keller pitched against the Astros. Mitch Keller pitched overall fine. He had 1 bad inning, and when Mitch Keller has 1 bad inning, 4 runs score. Yep. Paul Skenes today had 1 bad inning. He was in cruise control in the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. His bad inning is 35 pitches. It is loading the bases and then getting out of it with 0 runs. Like that is the difference between like a good pitcher in Keller and the best pitcher in baseball in Paul Skenes. You know, he just knows how to get out of jams. He has whatever mentality it is, and that's probably my favorite thing about him is like runners on base does not faze this guy, and that's really fun to watch. It's really fun watching pitchers work their way out of jams, and you know. We're disappointed that Paul Skenes went 5 innings today.
Right.
You know, like
in that 3rd inning, yeah, you're thinking, boy, 5 innings is. I mean, that pretty much killed his chances of going deep into the game. Because that inning was just so long. But yeah, he like you said, if this is any other pitcher, they probably don't get out of that third inning, Neil, to be honest.
Not
And
without
you know,
not without giving up at least a run. Yeah.
yeah, like giving up a couple. But he bears down, like you said, he almost gets better with when guys are on. He gets more locked in, if that's even possible. And he powers through it. It's just a shame that this offense can't seem to, last year we were saying, man, this team hits for Paul Skenes. Like Paul Skenes won't be denied. Like he's going to get this team to hit. This year it's the complete opposite. Like they're bad, and they're bad every game, but they're like really bad when Skenes is on the mound.
I think I said it last night. Bailey Falter's the only pitcher who has a winning record in this rotation. And Falter's been good, but I think that's really funny. That said, Paul Skenes now, 224 career innings, a 193 ERA. That's over a full season's worth of starts.
It's wild.
As a rookie, like this is this insane dominance. And this year, like a lot of people were criticizing his fastball last year. People were saying he was relying on the splinter. Now his fastball is his best pitch. His fastball is filthy now. And so it is just super cool. In a terrible season, at least I get to watch Paul Skenes a lot because and I think that's the worst part about him only going 5 is that he's the best part of the game and he exited pretty early.
Yeah. And he is. As soon as he comes out of the game, it's still 0-0. The game result is still on the line. And it's just kind of like there's a luster that leaves the game when Skenes is out. It's just like, okay, we'll see what happens now. But yeah, he only had 9 whiffs today in 95 pitches. Like the Cubs were fouling a lot of pitches off. And he just he wasn't giving in to them. And I mean, this is like we talked about Tucker and Suzuki and PCA having an unbelievable season. Like this is a very good Cubs lineup in Wrigley, which is I'm not used to seeing a 0-0, 1-1 ball game in Wrigley. So you're not expecting to see that, but it was he just wasn't going to be denied today to give up any runs.
Yeah, and I mean again, this is a top 5 offense in baseball. However, and so no matter how you slice it, 5 innings of shutout ball is always going to play. And like we always say, he gave the team a chance to win. And the offense barely did enough.
Yep. Yeah. So he had 2 walks today, 4 hits. Let's talk about that 5th inning. So he comes out in the 5th inning, gets 2 outs right away. Nobody on, 2 outs. Ian Happ walks, which Happ had a hit earlier. Like go figure. Happ just is going to hit against the Pirates. Kyle Tucker doubles off the wall or not off the ivy. It went off like the bullpen door. And it's like, Skenes is going to give up a run. He's going to lose 1-0. Cruz gets it in to IKF with a bead to Henry Davis. And I mean, they had Happ out at home there and Davis made a great tag. They got the relay, and it was great to watch. Skenes was pumped up behind the plate, had his arms raised up, and it's like that was some theater right there. That was great to watch that 5th inning play out.
He's just like, finally, I get some help. Yeah, I mean, my question is now, where the heck has this arm from IKF been all year?
Right?
Like that was a bullet home to get Happ, and then in the 10th, 9th, no, the 9th.
I think it was the 9th. Yeah, he had a great.
In the 9th, he just has that barehanded bullet over to catch. I actually forgot who hit it, but like I'm like, where has this been all year? Like,
yep, you're right. I thought the same thing.
So that was a really, really nice play. Probably the best defensive play we've made all season.
Yeah, it was. Hey, we've seen, and as far as Henry Davis, like not just at the plate, like him catching. Like, look, a month ago he was just Paul Skenes' catcher. And that was it. Like that was when he played. And now he's playing every day. Granted, it was because of a couple of injuries, but he's taken advantage of it. Like he's looked great. He's handled the pitching staff well. He's finally starting to come around at the plate. And he's just, I mean, the confidence right now that David, he has to be feeling really good. Oh, yeah. And for him to have confidence and that he's starting to figure it out, especially at the plate, like it has to be huge for him. And like I said this a couple of weeks ago, like, this is a lost season at this point, obviously. But if Henry Davis figures it out and becomes your catcher and he can hit, like it might all be worth it, Neil. like just for that.
Yeah, and with his defensive output, like he's been really, really good defensively. I think he calls a good game. I think he calls a much better game than Joey Bart.
Yeah.
That's just based off eye test. I couldn't prove it to you. I think his defense is better. Like he's able to steal strikes now. Like he was stealing strikes to the point that Dansby Swanson was getting mad with the umpires. And so like I think we could say this about Brian Hayes, but like you just need a league average bat from Henry Davis. As disappointed as I would be as him like being the most polished college bat of the draft, an average offensive catcher with the defense that he's showing is going to be a fantastic player to have. Like any way you slice it.
100%. Yeah, it's good to see. It's refreshing. It's good to see because there was the bust label that was going around a month or so ago, and it's sure turned a corner. So it's looking good.
He's still trending that direction. Like his OPS is still sitting like at a solid 630 right now. Like it's not good, but we're getting there.
Right.
You know, I'm not fully on the Henry Davis train yet. I am concerned about the whiffs.
Right.
He's the best Louisville player who's played for the Pirates this year.
There you go. And let's talk about the eighth inning when the Pirates scored their first run of the game. Davis gets a double. He doubles into left field. IKF bunts him over. And then, O'Neal Cruz, fielder's choice, gets the run in. The contact play, Neil, which – what do I always say? I always say I love that contact play. It always works.
I think the Pirates
were scratched out a run.
Yeah, I think the Pirates were like collectively traumatized from the O'Neal Cruz injury that they stopped. Like as an organization, we stopped doing contact plays for like a calendar year. But yeah, no, it worked. And again, we did not get a single hit with runners in scoring position, and we still scored 2 today.
Yep. I'm telling you, they grinded. They scratched out some runs.
Yeah.
David here says, Donnie Kelly gets a little too cute with his bullpen management sometimes. He really didn't like him not going just to Santana right away in the eighth. I like I said, we talked about it. I agree with that too. But it just seems like even the moves Kelly's making, like, Ferguson comes in, he walks the first guy. It just ends up seeming it works out somehow. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But get your hashtag raise it's in. We'll be giving away sandwiches here very shortly for the Pirates win today.
I think it just goes to show. Go ahead. I think it just goes to show that managers make decisions and it's up to the players to execute those decisions. And for whatever reason, Don Kelly's moves are being executed. Well, so.
Sort of. Davis couldn't get that bunt down, but then he ends up walking and they get the double steal anyway. So it's like things that typically don't happen to the Pirates are happening. But I did want to talk about, before we give away sandwiches, I did want to talk about Carmen Mlodzinski. He, this whole, I don't know what the Pirates front office is doing with this whole Mlodzinski thing, but they start, he's a starter to start the season. He goes down to AAA to continue to be a starter. Noah Howes writes the article last week that basically says, where the Charrington said, we see him as a starter in 2025 and only a starter. And then a week later, here's Mlodzinski in the bullpen. There really wasn't an injury that made force their hand. Like they just sent Nicholas down, which was fine. But all of a sudden, Mlodzinski's in your bullpen. They say he's going to be a bulk reliever like Ashcraft. And we hadn't seen him for the last 2 games. So I was very curious to see what kind of role he was going to be in, whether they were going to piggyback him or something with Ashcraft or Burrows or what they were going to do. And he comes in today, Skenes only goes 5. He comes in a scoreless ball game and pitches the 6th and 7th inning. It was pretty much the role that I want Mlodzinski to be in all season. That's what I wanted from Mlodzinski. He comes in, he of course lets 2 guys on right away, and you're thinking, oh great, he's going to get lit up now. But he gets out of it, gets through the 7th, and he bridged your gap from 5 innings from Skenes to your back into your bullpen.
It was a bumpy road.
It was a bumpy road, but I mean, the guy's going from starting to relieving, whatever. They've bounced him around, but it makes the bullpen so much longer, better, more efficient. Like, just it makes so much more sense to have Mlodzinski in that role, and he's good in that
Yeah,
role.
it is.
So
It's something we've been saying for months. Like it is June. We've been saying this since
nonstop.
April. Like
We
it's
have.
just, it's just the small things like that. I mean, where the general public can see it. Like I don't have all the internal data the Pirates have, but like yeah, like he's much better here. You can't. He is not good after he sees the lineup the second time around. It goes downhill from there. That's okay. It really is okay because he's good as a reliever. I wouldn't even be upset if Ashcraft was our bulk guy and Mlodzinski becomes our seventh inning guy.
Right.
Going from Mlodzinski to Santana to Bednar, or Bednar to Santana, whichever way you want to do it. That's a good 7 through 9, and then you have Ferguson there as your lefty specialist. Ashcraft and Sugar are there to carry the team from the 5th to 6th innings. Like I feel like that's a much better system and a much healthier system, and we saw the results today.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He could be the 7th inning guy, or if you have a starter that only makes it 4 or 5, he could bridge that, and go 2 or 3 innings, like you said. Just get him out before he's facing a lineup, 2 or definitely 3 times. But it just makes so much more sense. And I don't know what contributed to the decision to all of a sudden be like, we're going to put him in the bullpen. You know what? Like it was kind of out of nowhere. And hey, he's here. I won't complain. I will take it. I am interested to see how long, if this is permanent or if they send him back down to start again. Because at this point, I mean, Bubba Chandler has to be coming soon. So like, there's really not a spot in that rotation. Now you could say at the deadline if they trade Heaney or whatever, like, yeah, a spot could open up, but I don't know, man. It's just, he's just better for the Pirates in the bullpen.
He was a little bit worse than what we're getting from Burrows in that fifth part of the rotation. Like, I feel like Burrows hasn't been like fantastic, but it's been a similar or slightly better than what Mlodzinski was. And so, yeah, like once Chandler, once he figured out his walk issues, will be up. And yeah, Mlodzinski, I mean, sure, you can make a spot start or like you can step in if the rotation is in dire need of arms if injuries keep coming. But like, especially next year when Jones is healthy, like where does he doesn't have a spot in this rotation if they're serious. Now that depends on if Keller's here or Falter's here. We'll see what happens at the trade deadline or in the offseason. But I mean, just leave him where he's best. We like him. I always feel bad.
We like him in that role. Leave him there. Mike with the comment of the day, Pirates internal data is out of the park. Dude, if it was out of the park, that would be so much better. I don't know what the Pirates are using internally for their simulations and their data.
You wish it was out of the park. Brian Hayes is a god out of the park. Oh my gosh, like he is so good in that game. Perennial 6'4" player.
But yeah, Mlodzinski, like I said, I'm curious to see how they handle him from here on out and how long he sticks in that bullpen. Somebody mentioned on here, I apologize, I forget who mentioned it, but Cubs were 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So yes, I mean, a lot of that was early with Skenes, but Mlodzinski, Skenes, Santana, Bednar, they were great.
I take it back. The Pirates were 1 for 8.
There you go.
Brian Hayes' infield single with a runner on second that didn't move the runner.
That was it. The one where it was like I was just praying he walked, and then he ends up getting an infield single. So, anything else, Neil, with this game before we give away some sandwiches?
I think that's it. I think it's time to hand out some sandwiches.
All right, let me see if I can figure out how to share my screen here. It's been a while. All right, there we go. Can you see that? All right, we got 111 entries. It's pretty good for a Friday afternoon game, Neil, right?
Yeah.
Give you a couple more seconds. Get the hashtag Raise It's in there. And we will
Raise It's in as you're sitting in traffic and you're listening to this on your car ride home.
Yeah, Rosati and Jim are out there at Wrigley. They might be, hopefully they're drinking in some bar right outside Wrigley in their Pirates gear. But, all right, doesn't look like we're getting any more. Here we go. First giveaway for the Permane sandwiches. Good luck to everybody. Kyle Donovan
congrats,
is
Kyle.
our first winner. All right, Kyle. Well, the entries, I guess they take him out for the second one because now it says entries 110. It's like we lost one. And all right, here we go.
Kyle's a
Kyle,
good dude. He deserves those.
That's right. You know the drill. Get the Permanis app. Send us your email and everything, and we will get those loaded to the app. Here we go for the second giveaway. Here we go.
Bucko Sports Cards.
Bucko Sports
Congrats.
Cards. I wonder if that's the same. I wonder if that's the same one I follow on Twitter.
Probably, yeah.
So there we go. We got two people, Kyle and Bucko Sports Cards. Yeah, get the download the Permanis app if you already don't have it. You can email us northshore9@gmail.com to get send us your email and everything, and we will get that loaded to your app. But appreciate it, everybody. And it was a weird one, Neil. I didn't think we were going to win that game.
Nope, he had zero confidence the entire time.
So hey, we got two more of these this weekend in Wrigley, so we'll see.
Well, Doug's on, so it probably won't happen, but we can always hope for the best.
That's right. Well, we're out unless you got anything else, Neil, on this beautiful day.
It was just always a good day when you beat the Cubs.
It is. We didn't have to hear that "Go Cubs Go" song, which is brutal. I hate that song. And they won with Jim Rosati in attendance, which is
Cubs fans get to go home miserable, which is always a good day.
That is a good day. So, all right, guys. Well, that is it for us. We will be back tomorrow with another post game after the game. And thanks, everyone. Like the video, subscribe. We appreciate everybody in here. Everyone listening on the podcast as well. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys later.
Let's go Bucks.
Peace.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.